Hello and welcome to the Freedom Lifestyle. The Freedom Lifestyle is a lifestyle based on good health. And this is the exercise side, and I'm going to expand on that in a moment. But firstly, yes, it's always the food. Okay, the food is always the most important factor determining how healthy you're going to be. But there's always a huge void in the information that's given, so health information. And that doesn't matter where it's coming from, whether it's people you see on social media or healthcare professionals themselves. Maybe it's low carb, high carb, it's vegan, it's carnivore, it's paleo, it's maybe a breatharian. You just drink water, you don't even drink, you have nothing, you just breathe in air. Or maybe you smoke a packet of cigarettes and have half a bottle of whiskey, or maybe you eat soap and drink paint, or regardless of what it is, whatever fad diet or human species specific diet, which is actually starch and fruit. But there's always a void left with the other half, the other parts of a healthy foundation to a health based lifestyle, and therefore freedom from disease, is exercise. So on this channel, yes, I share what is the human species specific diet, which most people don't know, which is starch and fruit. And then the reason why I say there's a void when it comes to the exercise part is because you probably only ever get told, well, just go out and run or go out and walk or just go to the gym. And if you've never exercised much in your life and you haven't been running and walking since you're very young and you're overweight, you will get injured, so that doesn't work. So I never recommend running, whether it's outside or on the treadmill, and also going to the gym. If you're going to the gym, you're most likely going to get injured, and that is not the way to get healthy and lose weight. It always comes back to, if you are an intelligent person, so actually this channel, yes, I want to reach as many people as possible, but if you're intelligent people watch this channel. And what I mean by that is they don't just listen to their mates, or they don't just do what everyone else does, because surprisingly enough, most of the time it doesn't work. Okay, you'll get injured, you'll be yo-yo dieting, your weight will be going up and down, you might be taking weight loss drugs, you might be taking drugs. A health-based lifestyle is one where you think about what you do, you realize that every action has a consequence. You think about what you eat, you care what goes in, and you also care about your body and how you use it. So cycling is the way to go. It's low impact sport, it's sustainable, and it's fun. So just like the body is a machine, science yet, or the total sum of information and knowledge we have about the body is only the very tip of the iceberg still. Okay, so if you ever hear, well, we know what to do, doctors and medicine knows exactly what it's doing, it does not, because the body is incredibly complicated. However, what goes in is very simple. So this is the paradox. Okay, so what goes in, so if you're eating like white rice and bananas and potatoes and blueberries and watermelon, okay, very simple what you take in, but yet the body as a machine is very, very complicated. So the analogy of this, or the analogous of this, is the bicycle. Okay, the bicycle is a very, very simple machine, makes your life more simple. So part of a freedom lifestyle is also all of the other interconnected factors that allow you to enjoy life, live life at the highest life quality as possible, health, and then there's all these other factors. So maybe you want to reduce your stress levels, and again, that might be making your life more simple. So removing those things that make you maybe worry about money, so you can get rid of a car, reduce your use of a car and get a bicycle. You know, once you eventually get to the point where you have the bicycle, it can become more complicated or less complicated. So I'm going to show you, once you then have the bicycle, Once you then have the bicycle, it can become more complicated when you're buying things that people are just telling you to get rather than thinking about it. So this is a road bike. It's a carbon fiber road bike. And I have completely taken it back down, almost essentially to ground zero. It's been stripped of everything, all the components, all the cables, all the bearings. I've cleaned it, and the only thing that I've done off camera is I put in new press fit bottom bracket bearings here, and I've arranged here for you all of the bits and bobs, okay, the nuts and the bolts and the drivetrain and the components and the handlebars and the front forks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse showing you that once you have your bicycle, part of the freedom lifestyle for becoming healthy is realizing, you could shout it from the rooftops, it's all interconnected. So being able to do your bicycle yourself is part of this amazing sense of freedom that you can have when you can just do bike maintenance yourself. So you don't ever have to worry about, having to go to a bike shop. Them maybe conning you for a job that really you could have done. And it gives you more freedom. It gives you more freedom. And yes, there will be some things that you may have to go to a bike shop. And I'm actually going to show you that in a moment. One thing that you would need to. But 99%, so 99% of most things you could do yourself. Okay? And I'm going to show you. I think taking it apart is probably the easy part. So you don't necessarily need to see that. It's just undoing things and taking it all apart. But yeah, so you take everything apart. Then wash it down, clean it all out. So if you're going to change all the bearings, so like the headset bearings here, you clean it out where the frame will touch, and then you're going to re-grease everything. So whenever there's bearings, touching the frame, you grease it. And I live in the UK, so it's often wet. I think it's rained every day now for a month. I think 21 days in a row so far in winter, January, February. So this is February 2026. And the amount of times I've gone to bike shop and I could have done things myself. So we've got all the componentry here, the drive chain, as we call it. So I suppose I'll just run you through what we've got. So these cables here are called the outers, the outer cables. And I've got a spare bike here that I'm not using at the moment. So these cables here, where it comes out of the frame, so this bike here is an internally routed bike. So where the handlebars are, and it comes through, it goes inside the frame here, runs inside, and it comes out for the front derailleur here. You just see a hole there. And then the other rear derailleur runs and it comes out this hole here. And then for the brakes, for the front brake, obviously that's just on the handlebars here, and then connects to the fork that's removed at the moment. And then the rear brake, goes in here, runs inside the frame, and then comes out here, and then attaches to the rear brake that goes there. So they're the outers. Okay, these are the outers. And zoom in a bit. So we have, see my finger? Yep. So these are the front and rear brakes, and then you've got the screws that they sit in the frame. And I'm going to be changing over some brake pads. So they're brake pads here. So these wheels are carbon fiber. This one I got on my hand. And I'm going to put on some alloy, or at least one today. This alloy rim here. So An alloy rim and a carbon rim, they require different brake pads. And we've got the front and rear derailleur, and again the nuts and bolts for those. Chain, got the chain, got this little pot of grease, and then I've got some tools here that I'll need. And then we've got the chain rings. Okay, these are the chain rings here, along with the cranks, left and right crank. And I also, on this left crank is actually a power meter crank. There you go. So that measures the power across that crank, and I have tested both legs and I'm about 50-50, so I'm well balanced. And also had the little, so there's a little wing nut, little tool that you use to, when you put the cranks on, that's a little preload cap. We also have, up here we have some more cables. So there's a brake cable and a gear cable, and then also there's a pack, and that contains a brake cable and a rear cable. So I'm going to be replacing all the cables essentially. So that means the front brake, the rear brake, the front derailleur, the rear derailleur. So you only have those 4 cables. Nice and simple. And we've also got, again, some more bits and bobs here. So these involved for the rear derailleur. So they're for the internal cabling. Some more bits and bobs up here. And then we've got the stem. Okay, there's the stem. It's the stem cap, top cap, handlebars. Got my little bike mirror there. I've also got, there's my bike computer mount, little screwdriver. Then I've got my front forks. Okay, we've got front forks. And this tool here between the forks is a Mavic specific tool for changing the bearings on the wheel. And those they're the bearings for the wheel, for new bearings. These here, this is the top and lower bearings for the fork, along with some spacers there. Got my bottle cages, nice fluoro green, so you can see them, fluoro yellow, green. And got so these are, integrated levers, Shimano integrated. So there's a brake and gearing in the same lever. And I've taken off the rubber there to clean that out, give it a nice clean. And then we've got some tools here. So this tool here that looks like a goal post for rugby in the UK. That's a press fit bottom bracket tool. So that pushes the bearings in. This little silver tool here, it's a little tool that I use to remove the bearings. I've got a little wooden mallet hammer, and that would be used for potentially hammering these cranks into the bottom bracket if it's a bit tight. This is my torque wrench, pair of scissors, and then you got a assortment of little tools there that you may or may need. Probably the most likely is the wire snippers there, second from the left. And then you got some pliers and whatnot. And that little file there. So that little file was useful because these have semi-integrated cables in the handlebars. And where the cables go in, where the cables went in, I actually was sanding it yesterday a bit. So I'll show you that. Where these cables go in the manufacturing, when they cut that, they left it quite sharp. So I've just sanded the edges there to make it smoother for when putting the cable in. And this bag here, this other bag, so you got the cables, and in this bag here, that's the inners. Okay, these are the cables that go inside the bike for the internally routed cables. So they're the little sheath that the cables slide along into. And yeah, this is going to take a few hours, so it'll just be a time lapse, and you'll be able to see that you can do most things yourself once you have these tools. A little investment at first, but it'll save you a lot of money. So I recommend rim brake bike rim brake mechanical bike for the sense of freedom. So there you go. Hope you enjoy. Thank you for your time. This build so far has been a bit of a slog, unfortunately. I haven't been doing haven't been performing very well on this build. I feel like I haven't eaten enough carbohydrate, I don't think. And I haven't eaten enough bananas and rice. So I've made quite a lot of mistakes, and just lots of things have gone wrong. Like a lot, for some reason, I had some new gear cables that when I was trying to thread it through, they were fraying, and you know they usually come with a little bit of metal just to cover the end so it doesn't fray. So I was having that issue, so I had to chuck that one, and I was having issues with this internally routed cable bit here. I was having problems with that. I usually don't, but yeah, today it's gone very slowly. So I'm just going to it's getting quite late now as well, but I want to get it done in one day. So I'm having this melon break. And it's good melon. It's good melon. Ow. So I'm gonna have to clean off all this grease as well when I finish. But I think this would be more than the halfway point. But I say it's been a bit of a slog for some reason. But it usually isn't. Okay, it usually isn't. And so this is the second day. The first day I stripped it all down, and this is the second day. And yeah, it's gonna take me a whole day to build, but usually doesn't. It's just my brain is working a bit slowly today, unfortunately. So, like I tried to fit the rear brake and the front brake the wrong way around for some reason. So I tried to put the front on the back and the back on the front. I don't understand that one anyway. But yeah, the only other thing I didn't touch was this. So I didn't bother taking that off because it's a bit of a faff, and I don't want to change that position. So my saddle and everything, that's fine. Didn't want to mess with that position. So I'm going to power on, get my power armor on, and yeah, say this semi-integrated handlebar. So the semi-integrated handlebar, so that was a faff as well. So I wouldn't usually recommend that, but anyway, hope you're enjoying the video, and like and subscribe. And yeah, like and subscribe to get your freedom, okay? Freedom. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy this melon break now. Now this may not be very glamorous, but here's my chain cutting equipment. So what I do is for a new chain. So what I do, I've got a new chain on the right and the old chain on the left, and I've cleaned them so they're clean, and I measure up the length of chain links from the old chain. So I measure up the new chain against the old chain, and I line them up. Okay, I line them up, and then I cut it with my little chain cutting tool. Look at that. Look how small that is. pop, break the chain. I'm gonna do what they told me never to do. I'm gonna break the chain. Never break the chain. What you do is you measure the links up. So I'm about to concentrate now. Okay, I'm about to concentrate. Can you see? Shall I zoom in so you can see? Just making sure that they're lined up. So I've got the right amount of links. It's not quite done. I haven't quite popped the link out. Need to make sure that I've popped the link out. Yeah, that's gone. Pop now. There you go. Two chains now the same length. There's the extra bit that I don't need. So you can actually see the difference between the old chain and the new chain. So even though I've just measured it up, so you can see there, I'll zoom in. So even though I've measured up the chains to be the same length, you can actually see from the wear of the chain that if this is the starting point here, so they match up, this side you can see that the new chain is slightly shorter. So just space them. So you can see here, so here, so this is the starting point, and then the chains hook over, they come back down, and then this chain here, you can see is hanging slightly lower than this chain here. See that? So you can see these are the same, but yet the old chain is slightly longer, the new chain is shorter, but it's still the same number of links. So the chain has stretched slightly. So that's why you need to change your chain. there we have it. Basically all finished. And I think I'm going to leave the video here because you get the idea. So the last things that I'm going to do, handlebar tape. Okay, handlebar tape. And then last but not least important is going around with the torque wrench, making sure, especially the headset, that this is all tightened up to where it should be, so that when I go riding, my handlebars don't come off and I have to go to the dentist. And then I'm just going to wipe it down and check that there isn't any oil on the braking surface, wipe off any of the excess grease, and then it's rideable. So as you can see, it's easy. It's scary and daunting at first, and then if you feel like there's ever anything that can go wrong, well, you know, that's just like life, isn't it? It's not like a PlayStation game where you get to try it over and over again. You are always in the moment. Life is always in the moment, but every day is another chance to get it right. So there's a lot of helpful information on the internet, and probably, I'll make more videos about the bike and how easy it is to maintain. So this is a rim brake road bike, not a disc brake electronic geared road bike. This is all cables. It's all analog, if you want to call it that. And you know, I've been doing more and more myself, and now I'm at the point where basically, as I say, 99% of things you can do on a rim brake road bike. Okay, keeping it simple, keeping it analog. So like and subscribe, check out other videos, and you'll be able to see that part of the healthy lifestyle is the food and cycling. Okay, food and cycling. The food gives you freedom, the bicycle gives you freedom. You choose the right foods. So you choose the right foods, so the species-specific diet, so eating rice and fruit or starches and fruit. That gives you freedom, freedom from the healthcare industry, freedom to understand how the world works and why the food you eat is simply because industry is the most money is made by those foods that you see. So highly fatty foods, lots of protein, foods with lots of protein, especially animal protein. They make a lot of money for industry, so those are the things that you are told to eat, and everyone is indoctrinated to eat. And the same for the bicycle. Even in the bicycle industry, you're getting pushed. There's a push always to make as much money as possible. And being able to work on a bicycle yourself is not good for business because everyone takes a hit. Okay, the local bike shops, mechanics, the idea that you can be able to control your own destiny is not good for business. And having to buy supposedly lots of expensive kit and always needing to buy new kit and equipment. Whereas when you have something like this, in theory, the derailleur, the front derailleur, is going to last you a long time, whereas maybe if you buy an electronic system, it's not going to last you. So this is literally just the sands of time eroding away at it. As long as you don't smash it to pieces, it's just replacing the bearings, replacing those things that wear, but the actual derailleurs and brakes, just those things that are designed to wear out. So the brake pads and the bearings inside the bits on the bike, yes, they wear just like anything, but otherwise the shifters and the brakes and the derailleurs and the cranks, well, maybe not these, 105, Shimano 105, will last you in almost a lifetime, okay, a lifetime. And a carbon fiber frame bike as well. Again, if you don't take a hammer to it, there's no reason why it shouldn't last you a lifetime if it doesn't have defects. So thank you for your time. This is freedom, okay? The freedom that you can choose to control your own destiny. Literally, buy the bike, okay? Buy the bike. Literally, it controls your destiny. And the food. So your health is the most important thing that you have. If you don't have health, then you don't exist. So there you go. Thank you for your time. If you got any comments or questions, put them in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Easy, easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.